Hey everyone, it's Varouche. Welcome to my channel. I'm excited to be here with you guys to do this reading this is essentially for the 2 new moons in Aries this year. There's going to be a series of videos on this, but I wanted to show you a transit that's over us at the time of filming to get us prepared for those new moons because they're going to be very special. So this is going to be an all sign. I'm going to do an intro with astrology just to get you introduced to the idea or the concept of what's going on. And then we'll do much more in-depth astrology later. So let's begin. And I hope you guys are well. More content coming out soon, okay? I am a little bit short on time, so I'm hoping to get everything in before the sun sets. And so bear with me. So I'll be pretty direct and succinct here. So today the moon is in Libra, and it's transiting through the mid degrees into the late degrees of Libra. And Libra is a sign that is really focused on relationship issues, partnerships, the relationships between people. So rather than, if you watch me a lot, you know when I refer to relationships, I mean all sorts of different relationships, because not everyone has the same type of relationship that they feel comfortable with or that they like. So whatever relationships mean to human relationships is what I mean. So Libra in the 7th house is traditionally considered like the partnership, marriage sort of house, but it can be expanded to all sorts of different relationships that are significant in our lives, and people especially who we would consider to be our partners or people with whom we're very deeply bonded and connected with. And so the moon in Libra is a very nice energy. This is creating strong aspects to the sun and Mars. And so the moon is actually activating these new moons that are coming up this year. So this is why it's so important for us to kind of pay attention to this. One of the reasons today's so important is not that something will necessarily happen today, although the trine to Mars earlier today and the upcoming trine to the sun does signify that things are happening between people and people are interacting with each other, things are moving along. However, in and of itself, this transit isn't meant to create a circumstance for you. It's not going to create something literally physically materializing. What's likely going to happen with this transit is that you will in some way be brought, your awareness will be brought towards a focus on something in the sign of Aries, and this is where we have the 2 new moons. So let's kind of look into that a bit deeper. So there is a sextile between Venus and Uranus that happened over the last 24 hours. A sextile is a positive energy where 2 planets are interacting with each other, and it's an opening of the door sort of energy. It's an initiation. It's an initiatory energy, so it begins something new and it opens horizons. In this case, we have Uranus in Taurus, an earth sign, and Venus is in Pisces, a water sign. And so the connection between the two is deeply connected to relationships, to the physical world around us, to the things that we do. So rather than what we think and how we organize or how we kind of see our spirit going to a specific direction, this is more focused on the tangible material world. And so Venus and Uranus on this combination of transits is interacting in order to provide us some kind of new avenue or allow an energy to grow that has already been growing or manifesting in our lives. Let me kind of explain a bit deeper. Venus rules Taurus, which is the earth sign. So she's the ruler of Taurus. And so in that, we are focused on the physical world around us, how it's growing, how it's manifesting, what directions we are choosing and what direction and how. And we are kind of inspiring ourselves to go in new directions. What may have happened for you over the last little while, as Uranus is transiting through Taurus and Venus is transiting through Pisces, you may have kind of something that has already begun for you in some way may have continued to grow, an interest in a new direction, something in your mind that feels like it's a good direction for you to go in. Something may have arrived, like an opportunity or some kind of invitation. There may have been things between you and others that have been leading you in new directions. You may have felt more detached from people and circumstances that were no longer serving you. So things that you have been doing and participating in that feel as though you feel apathy towards at this point, especially those of you who are doing something because you feel you should be doing it. You're going to be feeling detachment from that and therefore excitement towards something new. So these are very nice transits. I already put out some things on Venus and Pisces, so I'll link that in the description for more info on that. But the sextile between Uranus and Venus is furthering that energy and is creating for us avenues through which to go through to new directions. So it's kind of exciting. So this sextile formed, and so this was as the moon had just entered Libra. As we can see, Venus is at 18 degrees and Uranus is at 15. So now it's closing in, and so it's breaking down. It's no longer a sextile. It's still sextile by sign, and there's a 3-degree orb sextile. But with sextiles, it tends to be more specific, especially when we're trying to connect it to other transits. So somebody said, the transit we're talking about today is a yod in one of my comments on my short form videos. And sort of, but it's not. The yod is a finger of God for those of you who are interested in that level of astrology. So it's not because it's already broken by the time it's already happened. But it's still a nice energy for us to focus on. We know the North Node is here, so we've talked about the North Node. We'll save that for later. And so the moon begins transiting opposite the space between Venus and Uranus, which are about 60 degrees apart, about, like I said, 57 now. But still, that area of the sky opposite to that position is being transited by the moon. So it's not quite a finger of God, but it is still a focused energy, and it's still an energy that brings a balance between Venus and Uranus, maybe at slightly a different point than the 30-degree mark. So a sextile is 60 degrees, and the midpoint is 30 degrees in between them. So in this case, it kind of skews it off by about 1.5 degrees, but that's not for us to worry about. All I'm saying is that the energy is not... One thing about the yod is that it's a hyper-focus energy, and so it kind of needs a perfect activation for it to really work well. So when you have transits that are a little bit askew, it's no longer the same energy. It's almost like a laser. Remember, I've told you guys about the yod before. It's like a laser beam. So it's not quite a laser beam energy anymore, but it's still powerful. However, because of the new moons that are coming up in Aries, it's still very significant because, as we know, Libra and Aries are on a axis, which means that they're opposites of each other and yet the same frequency at 2 points. And so the opposite to Libra is Aries. And so as the moon is transiting between Venus and Uranus, it's actually opposite to the points at which the new moons will happen in March and April. And I think that's pretty special. So what we're going to talk about today is how that applies to your sign. And so this is the general overview of what's happening, so you know kind of the mechanics and you can understand what we're talking about a bit more. But essentially, there is in some way the opposition by the moon is allowing you pause and reflection on the things that have sort of begun between Venus and Uranus. So the Venus-Uranus energy is a retaliation to what is. Something better is coming up, a better resolution, a better relationship, better circumstances. And the moon in Libra is giving you pause to sort of think about it a bit more and reflect upon the things, how they're working or what's not working for you. On Twitter, I made a good quote about this, and that is that that you may feel, even though you have already chosen change in a particular direction, as many of us have, don't feel tied to having to stay with the change because you have recently made the choice to change. So if the change that you have chosen is not working for you, this is a time for you to reflect upon whether the circumstances that are around you are what you deserve and what you want to be getting. And this is an open door for you to start considering, do you want change again? And that's okay if that's the situation. So look at your life, even if you have chosen change and have changed things up recently, really consider if that's appropriate for you. And this is a reminder at this time that you can change again. And no matter what the circumstances are, pause and consider. There's another nuance to this because the moon is also opposite Uranus and Venus, essentially. And so you can also think deeply about the change that you are taking and whether that's something that you want as well. So before the change happens, this is a time when, you know, you can think, oh, I want to move across country somewhere else. I want this different thing than that which I have. And through this transit with the moon in Libra, there could be circumstances. And by circumstances, I mean interactions with people, circumstances that you're experiencing, like situations that you're experiencing, that may bring your awareness to the fact that maybe these new things that seem so shiny are not so great. So this isn't a full moon. This isn't a full moon. This is a waning quarter moon, but it's almost there for those of you who are very picky, but we're nearing the final quarter. And so it is the waning quarter, sorry, but we're heading towards the waning crescent. And so essentially it's time for you to consider whether or not the options before you are truly what you want. And so circumstances may be coming up at this time. And so don't let your ego saying, I need to change, I need to stick with it, or any kind of thing that you're telling yourself. Don't allow that to prevent you from making a wise choice. And sometimes pulling out of a situation is the wise choice. So be very attentive for the rest of the day. And if you're watching this later, you should still watch today because it's really connected to these new moons that are happening in Aries. And so this is just a point of reflection. There's a reading alongside of it. And maybe you can go back to your personal notes or whatever you do, emails, text messages from February 10th through the 11th, and see if there is any kind of truth that's coming out. Another thing, before I get to the new moons, there's another observation. So this transit happens until about 11 p.m. Pacific at night. And then at that time, the moon is about 24 degrees of Libra. And so that's when it starts to form a square to Mercury and Pluto. That's a harsh angle. I suspect that there's going to be some kind of friction energy between yourself and others. And especially if there's anyone in your life with whom you have a power struggle, that should be amplified. That will be amplified. Or a conflict of interest with a power struggle. Be very careful in those types of situations. So this happens right after the transit I'm describing. And I think that it sort of will push things along. So I would be very careful to be in confrontation tonight, overnight into tomorrow. If you are in a contentious situation, really hold back and revisit the situation tomorrow. If someone is persistent to talk to you tomorrow morning, especially if you're like on the East Coast or in Europe, tomorrow morning, and there is this contentious energy in your relationship, I would put that off for about 12 hours until later. So be a little avoidant and then deal with it later. And if you do find yourself in the throes of conflict with someone, really be careful with what you say. and what you initiate. And so this energy, the square between Mercury and Pluto and the moon, isn't necessarily the same energy as this discussion between Venus and Uranus opposite the moon, but it all is sort of working together. So you're working out your balance between yourself and your environment. And then you have new opportunities that are arising for you at the same time. And you need to be very careful with how you play your hand with this one. It's going to be good. It's just, and you can't really go wrong, but you can maximize the benefit by being wise and using wisdom. So I'm just giving you a heads up that there will be a situation where some of you will feel like really wanting to correct someone or say something in the heat of the moment. This will cause you delays, and you don't want that. So don't waste your time on delays, and just keep moving forward. And so back to the new moon. So there's 2 new moons in Aries. This is fairly rare. The last time this happened was in 2004. So it's been a while. It's been almost 20 years since there was 2 new moons in Aries. And so the first new moon, I keep on wanting to say full moon. So if I say full moon, just disregard that. We're talking about the new moons in Aries. The first one is on March 21st, which is the first day of spring. It's at 0 degrees Aries. And then the second one is at the 29th degree of Aries, which are pretty exciting, and that's on April 19th. So these are 2 new moons, fairly rare, and they're in the critical degrees, the 1st degree and the 29th degree. Aries is associated with the first day of spring, and so for us, it's a very special day, and it's the day of the astrological new year. So hey girl, hey. And I suspect that it's going to bring a lot of lift and power to all of us. So whatever is going on for you right now, I just wanted to bring some mindfulness and awareness to it today so that you guys don't miss it. And then we'll work with this energy moving forward, and we'll see what the cards and your astrology says for today, and then we'll keep building on that until the new moons. If you have Aries placements, of course, this is going to be the most powerful for you, and especially if you're on the cusp of Pisces or the cusp of Taurus, this is a big deal. But you don't have to have Aries placements for this to be relevant, of course, because if you have, we all have Aries somewhere in our chart. So regardless of what kind of chart you use, whether it's quadrant system or equal houses, whatever you use, whole houses. Just find out where this is in your chart, and so therefore those areas will be most impacted by these new moons, and we'll get into this in much more detail later, okay? So 18 minutes, not too bad to go through all this. I really want to make sure you guys get a good video in, so thank you guys so much for watching, liking. Just as a reminder to everyone, if you're not a member, members always get my videos because you're paying money, so they suspect that you want to watch my content. If you're not a member, that's fine, but it's a really good idea to like and comment in the videos because that tells the algorithm that you're interested in my content. I've not been putting out regular content for quite some time, and I'm an older channel, which means I've been around for a while. So that means that you have to engage the algorithm so that it knows that you want my content, because it's been a while. So if you keep watching passively, or if you scroll off and don't interact, it's likely that you'll stop seeing my content. So at least if you're scrolling off, give it a like, say hi to me in the comments. I'll say hi back most likely, and then you'll see my videos again. So we all win. Okay? So it's not any kind of weird thing. I'm just telling you how it works. So I think a lot of you guys who watch me regularly like my content, so that's how you get access to it. Okay. And members, we will be doing more content for you as well. I really want to get into this because I can see the sun setting. So we'll start with Virgo. Hey, Virgo. So we'll pick a couple cards, and then I'll show you guys in the chart what it means for you. And it'll be mostly astrology with like a, my astrology is technical, but it's an intuitive slant. So, it's if something's not making sense to you, it's probably an intuitive message. Okay, so Virgos, for you, like we said, the focus is the second house. So right now, this is your spending, your money, etc. But the real game that we're looking at for March and April is your eighth house. And so this is about building common ground with other people. I'm a Virgo, by the way, a Virgo sun, and I didn't even think about it this way, but I had a very significant conversation with someone, a conversation I've had with this person for a while. I'm giving you an example. It's not a big deal, but it's a significant conversation I've had with someone for a while. And actually today, I reached some kind of progress in that conversation we never were able to reach before. So pretty interesting stuff. So look to your interactions to see where progress is made, and especially in the area of like how you share space with them, how you share space. By that I mean how you share resources, how things are organized between the two of you. Okay. So we have the Ace of Cups moving forward, a new beginning. This is really nice. And you have this, Uranus North Node thing. I hope you guys know that I love this transit for Virgo in the ninth house. I'm very excited about it. I think the next 10 years are really cool for Virgo in terms of the astrology because of that. We have Page of Pentacles, and I'll talk about that more later. Three of Wands, and let's see what else we have. We have the Four of Swords. So here's your message. And again, I'm being really direct and to the point. There's something ahead of you that's new, Virgo. Page of Pentacles. And then moving forward, new established relationships, a breakthrough moment with someone or possibly someone new. There is this waiting game here down at the bottom. We have the Three of Wands and the Four of Swords. Virgos have rested coming into this space. But I think that this to me signifies that you are going in a new direction financially. And I think that maybe this is a good time to reflect upon what types of agreements you want with others in order to get what you want for yourself. And those new agreements are coming in March and April when those new moons happen. Okay. So that's kind of your intro, Virgo. I hope that helps. Okay. So next sign. I would give you guys, I would go slow, but, otherwise Aquarius is going to be read in the dark again. Aquarius has this bad luck in terms of members for my random readings to get picked last when the sun has set. So I'm trying to get Aquarius in before the sun sets. And of course, everything's random. I'm being funny, but it's not too funny. So sorry about that. Okay, Leo. Hi, Leo. Let's take a look at what's going on for you. I actually like to pick cards first, but I have a tendency to get into the astrology first because I get excited. So we have Queen of Pentacles. She has a water undercurrent to her, so there's like a water element to her. Then we have Two of Cups, which is the Venus in Cancer, sorry. Ace of Cups on the bottom for Leo, new start. Leo's having a huge summer also, and of course Leo and Aries are fire signs, and I think that there is a symmetry between how much is happening in Leo this summer, and we'll talk about that a lot more later, and what's going on in Aries through the late spring or mid-spring. I guess March 21st is the first day of spring, but I feel like spring is already beginning, the longer days and stuff. So yeah, technically the spring, but I think of that as later spring. It probably isn't, but whatever. So March and April. Okay, so what do we have going on for Leo? It really looks as though there are new things that are available. There's an offer being made. There's romance that's possible. We don't have much in the fifth house. Venus is in the eighth house right now, so some of you might be going through love affairs, but let's focus on this transit of the moon. It's likely that something familiar is causing, it will lead you to a change or a reorientation of where you are placing focus. And these are the new moons in Aries in the 9th house. So at this time, as this transit is happening, you're redirecting your something that's close to you is showing you a different path or a different way. And there is a potential of someone reaching out to you. There's a potential of someone or you reaching out to someone and having specific feelings towards someone, or rekindling, but not necessarily like a sincere connection, a happy new beginning, some kind of a nice something that brings joy. So it's a positive experience that you are having right now, or you will have in the immediate present, that is gonna change your mind about things moving forward. And it just take it as that you're having a good experience and you're rethinking some things because of it. And this kind of is linked to a new relationship, a new connection, or a new connection with someone who you already know. And there's this connection where one person's reaching out to another and making some kind of offer. There's something that you're aspiring to and you're hoping for. Okay, so there's this kind of, you're reaching for the stars again. You know, you're reaching for something that's impactful on you. Okay, so here is the next message. Hey Aquarius, okay, so you're not going to get read at sunset, but I still don't want to read whoever is bottom of the pile once the sun is set, so we'll keep going. So happy birthday, you guys, if your sun is in Aquarius. If not, happy birthday whenever your birthday is. Let's pick 4 cards for Aquarius. So we have the Devil. Oh, the South Node is here. That's interesting with the moon. So fear, there could be fear that you're contending with. Something. Okay, this is my take for Aquarius. Something pushed you away from the outside world. Do you see how there's no transits up here? That's what's reflected by this. Something in your life, a pattern, an experience, has really turned you off from out there, and you've been in here for quite a while. This is not going to be forever, but you just felt that that was the better way. And so the Devil showing up to me is a confirmation. And because the South Node here is here, it suggests that that's like a past life thing or something that's rooted a bit deeper. We have the 9. Yeah, I feel like there's definitely an energy here of still wanting to detract or retract from certain things. Something doesn't feel right. Moon in Libra, 2 of Swords, which is in the 9th house. You listen, trust your instinct. And I have Moon in Aquarius, so I'm speaking to the Aquarius risings and the Aquarians, the suns. Don't question your instinct at this time. I have a feeling that many of you may want to question your instinct. You may you may be asking yourself, like, why do I believe this? Why do I think this about this circumstance? You're right on the money with whatever your concerns are, and you need to keep doing with whatever it is that you're doing. Okay. What really hits strong with this one is that you could be I think you've been doing this for a while, which means you've pulled away from this area, the 10th house, because it made you weary for whatever. I think it was an actual situation that happened that led you to realize certain things. And so you went your own way. I think you're here in some way questioning that. And this is such an Aquarian thing. Your instincts are needlepoint. They're so sharp. But then there's like questions because there's nothing, how do you say, it's all intuitive or with maybe like minimal substantiating evidence. And so you question yourself. But this is saying trust your instincts. I sense it. You don't want to go in a certain direction and you're asking yourself, well, I shouldn't do so for example, like you don't want to hang out with someone and then you keep saying, but I should hang out. That's a social thing to do. That's a nice thing to do. you're going to regret it. Don't go against your instincts. Keep doing with what you're doing. This is the Knight of Pentacles. I know it's a very abstract card. Keep doing with what you're doing. See, Lilith wants to get you in trouble with people who you're close with and who you partner with. That she is going to put people in your way who are going to be trouble this year. So if your instincts are saying don't go over there, your energy is here. The 2 new moons are in your 3rd house. You're not going out there, at least not yet. So with this moon in Libra, it's actually showing that you still don't feel like it's right for you out there. And I really encourage you to honor that. Okay. So we have Sagittarius next, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Let's take a look at your astrology and tarot. So hi, Sag. So I don't know if you watch Aquarius part yet, but Leo part yet. But there's a big nuance to this year, especially for the spring and summer. There are significant correlations between the fire signs. There's a lot happening in Aries. There's a lot happening in Leo. So today we're talking about the Aries double new moon that's happening on March 21st and April 19th, and how that connects to February 10th and the 11th, today, the day that I'm filming. Okay. And for you, this is significant because it's actually really happening in your 5th house, a fire house. And so it's deeply connected. Okay. So let's see what's going on. We have the 2 of Cups, Venus in Cancer. All I'm saying is this energy is very lit for you because both of those transit are aspecting your house in a trine. Okay, 7 of Wands. You're negotiating with someone, and for many of you, this is someone who you really love. There's a negotiation. There's like holding on to your demands. Like, let's say that you're dating someone and you're putting your foot down and you're saying, I need to have a more serious relationship with you if we continue. There's a feeling here of putting your foot down. So rather than compromising on your request, there's this really strong resistance to kind of going against what you truly want. And what you truly want is a deep connection. Now, I need to introduce this, so sorry if I repeat myself, but for me, relationships are broad, which means that we have different types of relationships with different types of people, and some people have only certain types of relationships, and that's okay. So not everyone dates people, not everyone gets married, not everyone, there's just a plurality of different types of interactions, and they're all okay. So that's how I read tarot. I don't really read it for, you'll get married to this person. But for some of you, that's what it means. So whoever you're interacting with on a significant way, it is founded in family, in trust, in a deep relationship, a relationship that requires trust, that requires mutual understanding, believing in each other. This is Mercury in Virgo. So you want someone to make you a promise or follow through on the promise, or even it feels like an implied promise, which means that they implied that they wanted more. You know how sometimes you get together with someone and love bombing is a really harsh term, but they say a lot of flattering things, and then 2 weeks later the truth comes out. So you want the person to be a person of their word. You want the person to maintain the same kind of energy. Now, this doesn't have to be romantic. It can be platonic friendship. But I feel as though there's been already a lot leading up to this, and we have a standoff, which is the 7 of Wands. And this is you not backing off from the what's needed. So let's look at our Libra transit in the 11th. See, I'm getting a friendship vibe. Like, this could be like a friend needs to fulfill certain things to be a true friend. You're not wasting your time on fair weather friends or friends that play like two sides of the court. That's what I'm getting the most. A friend who's going to stick by you in circumstances. So they're not going to hang out with your ex. They're not going to hang out with your enemies. They're not going to say nice things about your enemies to you. Those are, there may not be things that you can demand of people, but it's really questionable when people do that while saying they're your friends. And realistically, if people do a lot of those kinds of behaviors, like draw towards people who you either dislike or have contention with, it's very likely that that relationship is problematic as well, that friendship. So this is what I think what the demand is. And the moon is transiting in the 11th house of friendship. I feel as though it's like, okay, this is nice. These feelings are nice. This connection is nice. But there's a real demand that you're placing on your environment. They need to step up and be fair with you. This isn't anything manipulative. This is just being honest and fair with each other. And so the 2 new moons are happening in your 5th house. Again, if you watched the last video, this is the same as Aquarius. Trust your instincts on this one. Sagittarians have the Achilles heel of, kind of buckling and going along with what others want, and then they regret it because they just want happiness for all and all this kind of energy. But we have Jupiter in Aries, and we have the node moving into Aries as well. So we have so much energy in Aries in the 5th house for you that relationships are gonna blossom, and you really don't want fair weather friends, fake friends around. You don't want that fake energy. So you demanding this is good. Stay strong, Sagittarius. Make your demands, implied or otherwise, and hold on for the spring. And that's when things will blossom, and you'll understand why now making these kinds of personal boundaries, setting those boundaries is important, and it's going to make sense when we get to late March. Okay. So next we have is Taurus. That was really cool. I do feel like I rushed to do this with you guys today, and I didn't have much time, but I really wanted to get this out. And doing the readings we've done, with like 4 or 5 readings, I really feel like it makes sense. It makes sense why I needed to be here and talk to you guys about that. And if you feel like there's going to be more to this message once we get closer to those new moons, but this is just the activation. Okay, Taurus. Hi, Taurus. So for Taurus, big energy later on in the year. And we have the 4 of Cups. And then we have the 2 of Swords. That's Moon in Libra. So hopefully that will come up for a lot of you. This is like mind at ease, clarity of vision, seeing the perspective. And so for you, this transit is in the 6th house. Okay, you're in an environment in which things are messy. You're in an environment in which things are sort of like all mixed up at times. And through this transit of Moon in Libra, you're really seeing the orderly way of things. You're seeing through the fog. You kind of see and glimpse through it. And I think that you see the offers that are ahead of you a bit more. I think there's a lot of confusion around you that prevents that on a regular day. And it's not going to last forever, but that's the situation. Your environment is somewhat it's confused. There's like a lot of different things that are affecting it. And I feel like through this moon transit, you're going to see a bit more. Somebody's very generous around you. This is Moon in Taurus for all of you who have Moon in Taurus, 6 of Pentacles. So there's someone in the mix of things that is giving a lot to you. And because it's so sort of mixed up around you, like it's who's who and what's what is kind of mixed up. In the future, you will see it clearly. Hindsight is 20/20. But through this transit, you're going to see who the important person is. Someone's giving you something of value. Someone's giving you something valuable, good, worthwhile to pay attention to. And I think you're going to be really seeing the merit of this. The 12th house, people ask me about 12th house is it's the interesting house. And people always say to others, 12th house sun, it's so problematic. No, 12th house placements are a blessing. They're not like run-of-the-mill easy type of things, but I don't really find 12th house people who regret having them. So 12th house, it's good, Taurus, and the new moons are happening in your 12th house, so therefore they're shifting things on like a primordial level, like the baseline, the blueprint. The archetypes are shifting, and I think that you will see it is a little mystical, and it is a little woo-woo, and someone who's really valuable is around you at this time, and they're giving you something of great value, okay? Their presence. And so be patient with this moon. You'll see a bit of that. So Aries, the start of the show. I was contemplating doing your reading first, Aries. I do think that you guys are going to love me over the next, or maybe all astrologers, but there's just so much positivity that's hitting your sign at this time. We have Venus entering Aries very soon. But for this transit, we're focusing on your 7th house, which is right now, and how that's going to affect the 1st house. You're having some kind of meaningful interaction with someone at this time. And when the new moons happen, it's going to precipitate you opening some kind of new self. New aspect of the self is emerging. This is a great blessing in your sign, Aries, whether you're sun, moon, rising, north node, take anything. It's such an enlightening process. It's such a joy to the heart. These are wonderful gifts are coming your way. You're just gonna really grow through this transit. So those new moons happen on March 21st at 0 degrees Aries, and one on April 19th at 29 degrees Aries. And if you have placements closer to one or the other, that is going to be significant for your sign. So, if you're closer to the 0, that's the first new moon that's stronger for you. And if you have placements closer over here, even if they're in Taurus, that's closer for you, okay? So we have 4 of Wands, 2 of Pentacles. What else? 3 of Cups, reunion. So welcome them back. Welcome someone back. There's something changing. There's a bit of an adjustment on how to make it all work, but it's all a blessing. Look, they're all lower number cards, 2, 3, and 4. You got away from something that was pretty devious. This is Moon in Aquarius. Something was not good for you, was trying to deplete you. It could be an energy vampire, a situation that's depleting of you. We have the 3 of Cups on the bottom. We have the 4 of Wands. You're heading in a very positive direction. The situation you left behind is not the situation you need to welcome back in. When you're in a bad relationship and you end that relationship and then suddenly all your friends come back, this is the energy here. This isn't you ending a bad relationship and then going back to that person. There is an adjustment period with the 2 of Pentacles, which means that it's not like all win or all lose. There is a bit of grit. There's a little bit of work that you have to put in. And then there's the 4 of Wands. So establishing your home, getting things set up in the right way. For the moon in Libra transit right now, the interaction between you and your partners, whoever they are, friends, whoever's significant, is gonna in some way push you towards allowing yourself to be a new version of you over the next few months. So at this time, February 10th through the 11th, you're having very significant interactions with people that are laying the foundation or going to be consequential for you in March and April. So they will evolve into that, and we'll talk about that more in upcoming videos, but I just wanted to introduce the energy because it's a really nice transit. Okay, so I'm very happy for you, and I'm very happy for your transits. you're about to get hit with a lot of blessings and a lot of good things. And if you have like certain placements in Aries, especially the emotional kind, like Moon, Venus, Neptune, I don't think any of us have Neptune in Aries. So anyway, Neptune is heading into Aries now, unless you're like a vampire and you're 200 years old. But anyway, so they're nice energies. These are, you know, there's going to be overall in mundane astrology, there's going to be retributive or like silver lining energies, along with a lot of complicated energies over the next 10 years. And actually, Neptune in Aries is going to be very beautiful that way. It's going to be very redemptive, and that's going to affect all of us as well. So you're also drawing on that energy personally. Capricorn, hi. Okay, so I think I can make it for everyone, which is so exciting. Okay, so Capricorn, so for you, the Libra moon is happening in the 10th house of career, but that's going to actually affect your family and your home life with those new moons in Aries. This can feel like, for some of you, moving to a new location, and including moving home. So because of work being drawn in a new direction or moving even far away, we have Three of Pentacles working really well. Accomplishments lead you in a good direction. And then we have the Four of Swords, rest. I feel like you've really hauled butt for a very long time, and you've tried to get to where you're going for a while. I do feel like things are coming in as a byproduct of effort. And then we have the Queen of Wands, and somebody gave you a very good review. I have a feeling that you had been blocked by people unwilling to support you in your way forward. So people were petty, or people were in some way wanting to get in your way or stop your progress, or, you know, slow you down. And one of gatekeeping, right? And so someone allowed you to pass through. Somebody gave you accolades. Someone recognized you for your hard work. And now it feels as though things are progressing forward. So with this moon, in some way, you're feeling the effect of that. You're feeling the ability to move beyond what has been. I feel like some of you have been really trapped by gatekeeping. And being trapped by gatekeeping means that you want to move forward, but people, because of bias, judgmentalness, envy, whatever else, are not allowing you to move forward. They're not letting you move forward. They're not letting you progress. This was in the past, right? And so here, somebody stepped in with very kind energy, and someone is fundamentally helping you, which is going to lead to good things and good outcomes. And you can finally relax a bit, and things will come your way a bit more. So it really feels like your issue up until now has been gatekeeping, which means that people have been not allowing you to progress out of self-interest. And you met someone, like a decent person, who wasn't going to lie, and someone who wasn't going to take advantage of you and like hold you back for their personal benefit. And that's really pushed you along, so you can relax now. Okay. So Scorpio's next, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Let's take a look at your energies. Okay. So, hi Scorpio, we have the moon in Libra transiting right now through your 12th house, and the new moons will be in your 6th house. Okay, what does that mean? You're getting, speaking of gatekeeping, that's like 12th house energy. But for you, it's not necessarily just gatekeeping. The moon through the 12th house allows you to see why certain things are not happening for you in the way that you had hoped they would, or in the way that you feel that you've earned. So maybe you've worked for a while for some things to happen a certain way. Yeah, there's the work. And that's 6th house energy. This is Sun in Virgo. Virgo traditionally rules the 8th house. So yeah, definitely, like, things have not gotten very similar. Watch Capricorn's energy. You might pick up on some of the energy there. as well. Like you might pick up on some of the things that I'm saying. Page of Pentacles, again, yeah, new breakthroughs, new opportunities. For you, it's not so much like receiving a good reference or a good accolade. For you, it's about finding the right people. I feel as though, again, you had an empowering person who came into your life, someone who has bigger things to worry about than holding you back. Small-minded people hold other people back, and they're extremely toxic to be around because they orient everything around their jealousy and their jealousy. And so they will put in considerable effort to hold other people back. And they do that. Being around this will hold you back. And frankly, a lot of people are this way, out of their insecurity. They never get as far themselves because of being this way. But unfortunately, it sort of causes you to have setbacks when you're around them as well. So that's the issue here. But someone came in who was bigger minded. And so this person was around you in some way, and they brought you more depth or breadth in your life. And we have, as a result of that, this moon brings your awareness to that in some way, and you're asking yourself, why am I not progressing? Why am I stuck? It's the environment that you were in that was spiteful, that was hateful. And in some way, the answer isn't to go back to the same thing. The answer is something new is coming up with offers of new things. In fact, this Ace of Pentacles, Page of Pentacles combination has shown up in other readings today. So I think that this is a common theme. And since we're talking about Uranus, Venus, sextile, right? That's the foundation. Relationships with others, Uranus in your 7th house, look towards new friends, new connections, and you keep doing your work, applying yourself until you get it right. Somebody's coming to you with new possibilities, new hope, new direction, and this moon in Libra is helping you see what's actually wrong. What's the thing? What is the thing? Who are the things that are holding you back? It's crazy how we, sorry to use ableist language, it's a bad habit, but it's really strange how we can go along with our lives sometimes and choose people and environments that are actively holding us back, that are actively not healthy for us, and they actually like, we go along with it, we allow it, we enable it, until we realize that the person is actually bad for us, or this situation is actually bad for us. And we wonder why our lives are not progressing. And then we have this aha moment when we're like, oh, wow, okay, so actually all this is happening because of who I surround myself with. And so it's that kind of realization that you may be having alongside this moon. And in some way that's reflecting on like patterns in your life, what you're spending your day to day on. Essentially, you're looking towards the wrong people, and you think that they're okay. And it's through this time that you'll realize why they're not okay, or you'll feel more confident in that, or at least you'll see it better. Okay, so thank you for watching. And then we have Libra next, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Let's take a look at your energies for Libra, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Sun, Moon, and Stars. Okay. So let's look at your tarot cards. So we have the Hanged Man, which is Neptune. There's a lot for Neptune that's going to be emerging. Neptune was sort of in the middle of Pisces for years now. There's so much to talk about Neptune for. 7 of Pentacles. You also are getting a new beginning. The new moon is in your 1st house. You get new relationships are emerging for you with those new moons. Then we have the 3 of Swords, Broken Heart. You're waiting for the right opportunity here. We have the Hanged Man. The new moons are happening in the 7th house. The last three signs have been really focused on who is around you and what kind of circumstances are around you. There is a new beginning that's emerging, but I think that whoever's been there has not been doing you justice or has not been well for you. And so now you're really sitting there and waiting for a more appropriate energy. This new moon gives you confidence to realize and reflect upon who has been there. You have been really looking at who you've been letting around. And with these new moons, there are opportunities. Remember, March 21st and April 19th, there are opportunities for new relationships and new friends and new people to interact with. And you have to kind of apply your knowledge as to where you've gone wrong in the past to apply to these new directions. And there is this question, remember, if you watch the astrology intro, there's this question like, am I choosing the right person? Am I choosing the right circumstances? Is this the actual right choice for me? So you may actually pull back on certain relationships that you've initiated recently and actually kind of rethink them. So maybe not, but maybe new beginnings, but also pulling back. So all sorts of different things we'll talk about later, more in depth. Okay, so next we have Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising. So Sun, Moon, and Rising Cancer. Let's take a look at what's going on. Party time, Cancer. Pluto's leaving Cancer in your 7th house. This is really good news. And so the Libra new moon, it's not a new moon, it's the Libra transit of your 4th house is going to lead the way into new moons in your 10th house in your career. I think that there's been a fair bit of rest around the home, and that you've reset in the home, or maybe you're going through the reset right now, and you're going to embark on new beginnings in a social network kind of capacity, so out there. And I think that you've reframed yourself, you've reframed who you are for yourself, and now in this new version of you, the one that's ditching Pluto in the 7th house, you're gonna now interact with new possibilities and new opportunities in the world at large. So you're giving a good old college try, another go at things. You're going in a new direction, okay? Page of Pentacles, new people are entering your life. And we have the Hanged Man. So this is, again, your energy is very similar to Libra's. So there's this feeling of hang tight. It really will pop off or get going for you in March and April. 5 of Swords, disappointment in people lingers on. Pluto really wants to make you feel discouraged, to have as much power over you for as long as possible. That's what you want to remember. So when Pluto actually enters into Aquarius and leaves Capricorn, you want to work really hard on letting go of your ways of dealing with people and your expectations of people. So in other words, start giving people opportunities again and stop protecting yourself. This has been a long transit in your chart, 14 years, something like that, very long time. And so you have habits, and especially if you're like a younger adult, you've never seen this energy without Pluto in there. And so you have certain habits that you've developed to survive in relationships and whatnot. So a lot of this transition is you shedding that skin. Okay, so we have 5 of Swords, Hanged Man. Very disappointment in people. There's new people coming in that are worth your while. You hang in there. This is Libra, Justice. You hang in there until March and April, and things are really fundamentally shifting for you, but these 2 new moons are going to really open up things for you. If I was strongly placed Cancer, I would be really working hard on, I'm not like victim blaming, like forgive and forget, that kind of rhetoric. But for your betterment at this time, I would be getting prepared to be as open as possible to the people around or to new possibilities, and all those strategies that you use to protect yourself, like still protect yourself, but all those strategies that you use to protect yourself, make sure that you are giving like a second chance. It's not the same game that you're playing. You don't have to, it's not the same game that you're playing. So you don't have to be as diligent, or you don't have to be as careful as Pluto moves into Aquarius. What's required of you to protect yourself will change, and it will not be such a hostile environment, right? So now you can, but still, I always protect yourself. I'm not saying don't protect yourself, but with this, you don't want to be harsh, because these new moons are truly bringing new people into your life and new possibilities, okay? Oh, two more. Okay, I thought I could relax, but the sun has set, Gemini. Okay, we're going to do this. Gemini, sun, moon, and rising, 2 more signs to go. Okay, so it's a race against time today. So we have the moon in Libra, in your 5th house of romance. A relationship is probably giving you some pause, or a romantic situation or something that's bringing you joy is giving you pause with regard to your social environment and what kind of like company you keep. You're really reflecting on the people that you know and whether they're, you know, good people, and that will probably lead the way into new relationships with new people, new possibilities. We have the 2 of Wands, and then we have the King of Cups, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, secondary transits in fire, Sagittarius or Aries, 3 of Swords. I'm getting flooded with messages for you like regret, grief for someone, regret for how you've treated someone in the past. These are, I'm not saying you're a bad person for it. In effect, I'm actually picking up on the fact that you're considerate of the fact of how you've treated someone in the past. So some of you are having regrets about missing the opportunity of a good friend, or missing good time, you know, wasted time sort of thing, that you were not grateful for someone and didn't recognize who they were in your life, that you kind of messed up. These are good thoughts to have. We all do them, and I'm not blaming you for anything in relationships, but these are good thoughts to have because they help you to recognize gratitude and like what really matters in life. So this isn't to say, oh, you were mean to someone, Gemini, whatever. We all get mean to someone, but this is, it's a real sense of saying like, you're set, like imagine like having 2 friends, and one is the more exciting friend and the other is like good old reliable, and you sort of pass on the good old reliable friend and embrace the exciting one, and it blows up in your face, and you were like, why did I pass on this person that was actually maybe less exciting but like a really good person? So there's this regret of the past that's going on for Gemini, and this could be things that you're feeling that other people did for you, but I actually think it has a lot to do with how you feel about your own behavior in the circumstance. And all of this in the 11th house, all this new moon energy in Aries, new possibilities and friends. And so this moon transit of Libra is bringing to mind is bringing distance and realization to your relationships with others, in which you're deeply thinking about how off that is. So you're thinking about like what's off about these situations. Whoever is in your life, there's a very generous, emotionally generous person, King of Cups. And so it doesn't have to be a man, and it doesn't have to be a water sign, but it's that very generous energy. So this isn't about not having friends. This is about raising your standards. And when the new moons come in, realizing like that you'll get better from someone else or from other people as friends. There's also this feeling that some of you have been around friends who influenced you in a negative way. by influence, I mean that they encouraged you to be a worse person than you are. And then you're kind of waking up from that and asking yourself, like, why was I like this? I'm not actually like this. So you're shaking off bad vibes from other people with this new moon. And fifth house is really about like ego, right? The fifth house, it's a super interesting house. And so this is like you, ego in a healthy sense is you getting in touch with your ego and re-identifying with what actually matters outside of the conditioning, right? Okay, so we have the Pisces transits, okay? So let's see this. Pisces, hi Pisces. I felt myself getting weird a little with Gemini, and I didn't realize it was only Pisces left, but I'm excited you're last. I have a feeling that it's going to be a bit of a woo-woo message for you guys today. So we have the moon. I'll put that back in because that's your card. So Pisces is in the house. Hey girl, hey. A lot's going to change between now and the new moons because Saturn's going to be in your house, but Libra is in your 8th house of change. So whatever process of change you're under right now, it's actually leading you in some way to bring energy in. I think we've already talked about that the next little while, 2.5 years, Pisces is going to be really focused on the self, very focused on, and maybe hyper vigilant from protecting yourself from the outside sometimes, because the outside will be harsh and critical. And you're going to find that you're going to be very successful when you reinforce the self, right? When you reinforce your own energies. And then we have Queen of Pentacles, Virgo, Taurus, or Capricorn. She's very contained. So if you have a Virgo, Taurus, or Capricorn female, especially friend, like a Queen of Pentacles, and any gender is fine, but we're talking about Queen energy. Whoever has this, and look to them. This will be your archetype that will bring you a lot of strength in the upcoming 2.5 years. She's self-contained. People come to her. She doesn't come to anyone else. She is the welcoming force and very autonomous. Whatever you do outside of my house, she says, is your business. You can come in and be nice and be collaborative with me here, but I'm not going to entertain your dramatics and things, whatever's going on for you out there. That's your winning strategy, Pisces. We have 3 of Pentacles. I think that you've been, my guess is that currently with the moon right now, you're doing a good job with something, very good job. And there's a real theme between all the signs here. What is holding many people back, okay? The environment, there are limitations, gatekeeping. You heard the whole video that there are factors that are disadvantageous for the self to grow. And so with this moon transit in the 8th house, I think people are becoming very aware of the factors that are limiting forces in their life. So for you, this has to do with work, and you're doing really good work, but people are not recognizing it. It's gatekeeping, hateful behavior. This is not merit based. It's a push-pull energy. You know that you have to be smart about it, which is the moon. You have to use that really ambiguous logic, the logic of like nuance and ambiguity, not deception. I know the moon sometimes means deception. This isn't deception. This is about, you have to not win at their game, but almost play so well that whatever they're doing, you overcome, and you will. You're going to find your ways around it in a very masterful way, and it's leading to success with these new moons. You have been overly kind to people, it feels like. You've been overly generous, overly kind, and it's time for you to, they've taken your generosity and misconstrued it as weakness, and now you're gonna not be mean, but like show them, you know. There's a difference between generosity and you're not ignorant, you're not naive. Okay, so Pisces, thank you for waiting for being last, but I feel like this is a strong message. I think all the messages were strong. They were short, but we made it. The sun has set, so I made it just in time. I'm glad. It was very, very, you know, it was very, how do I say this? It was very, kinetic. It was very like, it wasn't spur of the moment. I was planning this all day, but just the final ability to do it. For those of you who are watching the end, let's see if you're interested in this. Let's do a little pick a card. So we have 3 Braille. I'm not going to get too deep in this, but just to finish up, if you guys are interested for like a little takeaway message or something we can sit with and think, choose 1, 2, or 3, and I'll just turn them over and let you know. So first is movement. So someone needs change. Movement in this capacity is also like things like dance, transformation, stretching, yoga, Pilates, whatever, wherever your body goes in multiple directions. Going for a walk. That was a huge download I've been getting from many directions, not just for myself, but that's what's needed. Like, get in touch with the world, move your body, and be present. Okay. The next message was the offering. So if you chose this one, maybe this is you. This is Neptune, the 12th. The present. So somebody was asking me about, in another language, they were asking me about the past is a history, the future is a mystery, and the present is now. It's a gift. And so we were translating it into another language to try to figure it out. But anyway, so the offering, the idea of the Hanged Man is that of delay. It's ruled by Neptune, which is like a higher octave of love energy, really connected to global things. And so the offering, in some way, sometimes when we really want things to progress, they don't happen as fast as we'd like them to, right? And so the offering is a gentle reminder that the actual present tense, even if it's not moving along as fast as you would like it to be, is actually a gift to allow you space to be able to entertain an idea, learn something new, or apply yourself in a new direction. So just, if you're feeling frustrated and you chose this one, that you wish that things would progress faster, this is a gentle reminder that, you know, waiting things for the right time is the better way, and it's actually an offering. It's a gift. Okay, so I like this message, number 2. And then number 3, we have the teacher. We have the energy of the Hierophant, or Taurus, and of course the nodes are in Taurus. Uranus is in Taurus. A lesson. I feel as though this is a signal of an authority figure coming into your life, someone who really knows something that you're dealing with well. This could be like a formal teacher or an informal one. Someone who's very kind and generous is coming into your life. I think that something in your life is going to really work its way through a certain energy by the time the nodes switch into Aries in July. So that's a time frame. You're about to go through some powerful experiences at this time before July that is going to really ground you in something. That's going to really allow you an ability to grow into something and claim something as yours. Okay, so we'll do more on the new moons in Aries, but I thought this would be a nice start. You guys, thank you for watching. It's getting dim out there, so I'm gonna go, but we'll talk again soon. Take care. Have a good night. Bye.